Good morning. We are here at shul.com at the Surfside Kolel Boker, and we have a beautiful case, a financial case that I want to discuss. It is found in the book VeHaarev number 3. It's a great sefer, and it comes from Parashat Behar. We discussed it yesterday on Simchat Torah here in Miami. It's a great case, and when you see the details of the case, you'll be quite surprised with the answer. So let's begin. Its title is Luxury Apartments on a Vacant Lot. So Reuven has this abandoned plot of land, and he long tried to make some money from the plot of land, but he couldn't make any money from it. The land was not zoned for building any types of structure, and there was nothing worthwhile he could do with it. And after many years, the piece of land ended up becoming a dump. Everyone just threw anything they had there. He wasn't able to build anything on it, and he couldn't do much with it. So Reuven, after a while, decided, okay, I'm going to sell this for just whatever price I can. I don't care how much I get. Let me just get my money and walk away from this piece of land. So he makes an advertisement. He puts this, he lists it, and Shimon comes along, and Shimon gives him a price and offers him an amount, and he's happy with it. Reuven is very happy to get the cash and to get rid of this piece of land that hasn't been doing anything for him, that he can't build anything with. A few days later, Reuven is passing by the land he sold, and he's amazed because he sees a huge, giant sign on front of it that says Luxury Apartment Complex Coming Soon. Now, Reuven was no fool. He knew that you couldn't build anything on that land. As it turned out, the municipal council held a closed-door meeting to rezone the entire neighborhood. Now, on that council of the zoning board sat none other than Shimon, the buyer of Reuven's property. And he spearheaded the motion to turn all these abandoned, worthless lots that were zoned for nothing into buildings. And by doing fancy apartment buildings, it would improve the neighborhood and also generate tax revenue for the city governments. And they approved it. Now, this was done prior to Shimon buying the land, because Shimon wouldn't buy the land if it was just going to be a piece of land. So this zoning was done prior to the sale. Now, when Reuven realized that there'd been some foul play in the sale of the lot, he tried to cancel the sale. The lot had been worth much more now that Shimon had much more than Shimon had paid him. Now that it was zoned this way, and Shimon argued that he offered him a fair price. And Reuven agreed to the price, and Reuven was very happy with the sale. What grounds are there to annul the sale, and who's right? So in order to go back, we're looking here, just to review the case. Reuven has an empty piece of land that's zoned to do nothing on it. He ends up listing it for sale because for years it just becomes a dump. He lists it for sale. Shimon comes along and buys it and gives him exactly what Reuven wants. Reuven is very happy. A few days later, Reuven sees that it's listed for sale, and he researches and finds out that before the sale was completed, Shimon sat on some zoning board in the municipal council that changed all the zoning of these lots into ones that you could build apartment buildings. And Reuven said, listen, I want to annul the sale. Give me back my money. I want to put it back on the market for a regular market price. So is he allowed to do this? And can he annul the sale? Now, from my understanding of the Sefer, which is based on the shooting of Rabbi Yitzchak Zilberstein, that these are real cases. Obviously, the names are not, but this is a real case. So let's take a look at the answer. The solution is quite fantastic. So the Torah forbids cheating people in sales. As it says in Parashat Behar, you must not cheat one another. Now, this prohibition applies not only to sellers who overprice their wares to unsuspecting customers, it also applies to buyers who underprice a purchase from unsuspecting sellers. So if a buyer is underpricing something from a seller who's just not aware of the market price, that's also cheating. It's not just the other way when the seller is overpricing a widget, it's the other way around too. Now, one might have thought that a seller should know best how much to charge for his merchandise. The seller should know. If the seller doesn't know, it's his problem. And he has no right to complain. But the Torah says otherwise. The Torah doesn't agree with that. Now, even a seller can get ripped off by a customer who tricks him into settling for less than he deserves. And that's brought down in the Sefer HaChinuch, mitzvah number 337. Now, as such, it seems that Shimon transgressed the Averah of what's called ona'ah, cheating in business. Now, however, Hazal tell us, and this is a key component, that the prohibition of ona'ah does not apply to real estate. And that's brought down in the Shulchan Aruch in Choshen Mishpat 227-29, that ona'ah in real estate does not work, and therefore it seems that Reuven is stuck and he cannot get his money back. Or maybe there is. Let's take a look. There's still another basis for annulling the sale to what's called mekach ta'ut, and that's a sale made under a mistaken presumption. The Gemara in Ketubot 97a has an interesting case of what happened in Nehar De'ah with the wheat shortage. Now, what happened was, at that case, Nehar De'ah, I believe today's modern day Baghdad, what happened in Nehar De'ah is that the wheat prices went up, there wasn't enough supply and demand, and soon people didn't have an ability to buy food, so they started selling their homes just to buy wheat. Now what happened was, soon after everyone sold their homes, another shipment of wheat came in and all the prices went back down to normal and everything stabilized. Now what happened was, when they sold all their homes for the wheat, they were under the assumption that this is the only wheat that we have that's coming. And what happened was there was a flooding of all the waterways for the ships to bring in the wheat, and it caused all the merchants to take a longer path to bring the wheat. And so had they known that the wheat and the affordable wheat was coming and that more supply was coming in, they would never have sold their homes. They sold their homes under the presumption that this is the only wheat they're going to have for a foreseeable future. Now, when they made this claim, Rav Nachman, he accepted their claim and annulled the sale. We taught here before that whenever you see the word Rav in the Gemara, that means that the rabbi most probably lived in Bavel, or was born in Bavel, or studied in Bavel. When you see the word Rabbi, he was from Israel. So we know Rav Nachman was in Bavel, as it was also Nehar De'ah. Now here too, over there in the case in the Gemara in Ketubot 97a, Rav Nachman ends up annulling the whole entire sale, and he says that it doesn't matter. Everyone take your houses back, give them their money back, because the wheat prices went back down to normal, and that was called a mekach ta'ut. And so the conclusion of the case is that here too, even though Reuven had known that his land had already been rezoned for the building, had Reuven had that knowledge that it was rezoned, he would never have sold it at that low price, and therefore he too can claim mekach ta'ut and annul the sale. I know it's a wild conclusion, but this is the halacha, this is the Torah. Derachei ad dar hainoam v'chol netivotei shalom, baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.